Hi, I'm Carrie from Crafter's Log. Welcome back to my channel and thanks for tuning in today. I am reviewing the two projects that I did with my second box from Miss Quilty. And so the first one was a heart square or a heart block. I actually turned that into I made two of them. And so I actually turned it into, wasn't quite big enough for really anything. So I just turned into like an oversized coaster that I will keep at my desk. That's where I had to grab it from. Pattern for this was pretty easy. The second book, it actually changed how they did the instructions. The first one I received, you had to cut the pattern out and use it and made your own template if you wanted to, or I just actually cut it right out of the book. The second book, this current book that I just finished up, they actually had the measurements for the items that you had to cut out. And this one was pretty simple because you just needed squares. So I added the tab onto this, but it's a cute little heart, not bad. This was the first project in the box, and it was labeled as beginner, totally beginner project. I was able to do it with no problem. The instructions on this project were very clear and easy to follow. The second project was a star square, and it meant to be a 12-inch pin cushion or cushion. And I thought it said pin cushion. I could be completely wrong. Oh, it was a star cushion. So I guess that's what it was to look like, and was set to be a 12-inch square. I made some adjustments, so I actually think this is a little bit bigger than the 12 inches just because, sorry, I'm measuring it. It came out to be 13 inches, and that is because on one of the triangles, the 4.5-inch triangles that were cut, they were wanted to be cut down to 3.5. And I was completely at a block on how to change that from 4.5 to 3.5. So I just left it at 4.5, and I had to make the adjustments to the four corners. And all I did, sorry, I have a little buddy in here who's wanting to play around, or actually he's just wanting some loving from mom. So I just instead of cutting these to 3.5, I did them at 4.5. And so it made a larger, is a 13 by 13. The instructions for this were better than the first one. I didn't see any discrepancies in it. I did have to read through it a couple times just because I'm a beginner sewer or a quilter. And I really need practice on doing the squares or the triangles and getting your points all set up. Now I did get, I'm super happy with this point right here because they are almost all like perfect. But you can see there's a couple, there's like a gap right there. If you can see that. Didn't quite get it there, but that's okay. This is my first one. I plan on keeping it. I did use, so this additional fabric was not included in the box, so I had to find something that I had laying around to match. So I think it looks good. But otherwise, all these other colors and patterns did come in the box. I think they work great together. I did turn it into, I guess, a cushion, I guess, but I used some scrap fabric, so it's pretty hard. So I'm not going to use it like, I'll just use it as a pillow, as a decorative pillow, and not necessarily a keepsake, but something that I can go back to and compare. Like when I continue to do this, I can compare my first project to my, one later down the road. I like being able to do that. I used to make wreaths, or I still do. And my first ones, I was like so proud of. And then I had went to some trainings and everything, and then I saw like on Facebook where they pop up like your memories from 6 years ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's really what they look like when I was so proud of them when I first did it, but like the knowledge that I got. So I'm hoping the same thing will happen with this if I keep up with it, and then they'll start to look better. The only complaint that I had with the fabrics, everything worked out well. Except for this striped one. This striped one, I'm trying to remember what it felt like when I pulled it out of the box because I washed it and it puckered. I'm not quite sure. It feels like that pucker fabric that you make dresses out of or skirts sometimes. It's just really weird. I pressed it. I used I did wash it beforehand. So when I pressed it, I did starch it, and it's still puckered. I don't know. I have a good ironing board, and I think my iron is great. I use just the Faultless regular starch. So maybe I need to upgrade my starch, or maybe it was just something with the fabric. You can tell too, you can even feel it when I touch it. You can still feel the pucker on it. So I don't know if I messed it up by washing it beforehand. So if you have any tips or tricks on starching or on this fabric, that would be totally helpful. I did get a tip from a viewer on one of my previous videos about how to make sure you're cutting your fabric the right way so there's less stretching to it. So thank you at Jolene. I don't remember your numbers, I'm sorry, but thank you so much for the tip, and I will remember that, and will probably lead me to not washing my material beforehand until I get more apt at making sure I'm choosing the right direction to cut it to avoid the stretching. Other than that, I think this may be my last Mrs. Quilty box for a little bit. Just because one, I like to reuse a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of fabric was still left over from this. And I think it's fantastic that there's plenty of fabric. But the problem is the box that it came in. It's a wasted space inside the box. I do find that this booklet is just over big, and it's over, I read it once, and then I really don't need it again. But all these tips and stuff, I think it would be great if they were just on their website. That way you can condense the book, condense the size, and make your packaging smaller, more economical, and more earth-friendly. That's just the movement I'm working into and been trying to for years. But like tips, when choosing the threads of sewing, make the right choices. We know this, and it's great for beginners, but this book just isn't for beginners. It's also meant for intermediate, because the second project was a medium quilting skill. So a lot of this stuff is going to be redundant for people who have already started. So this would have been a great for your very first initial box, but not to continuously going on. So it could be condensed. Maybe this information is put on to the website that people can read as a blog, kind of, when they want to follow up and get some more ideas or some more information about how things should go. So this is my last box for Mrs. Quilty until I get a little bit more experience. In the meantime, I have other ones to review and projects to do. But otherwise, that was good. I was just worried about the fabric and the puckering. I'm getting great tips from commenters. And so, yeah, I mean, I loved it. I love the fabrics. I'll continue to use the leftovers because it was a ton of fabrics. And so it's not really, I don't know if it's easier just to throw in the fat quarters in there. The box was like $34, which is not a bad price for 16 fat quarters. And then I got a package of quilting clips. They look like those clothes magnets, or those security tags on clothes at the stores. Don't know if I'll ever have anything that thick to use it on, or maybe that would be the wrong reason to use those. So I'll have to figure that out in a little bit later when I get more skilled with this and have more of the tools that are needed for projects like this. But I'll put the link in for Mrs. Quilty if you want to check it out. Otherwise, essentially 16 fat quarters for the $33.91, something like that. It was less than $40, and that included shipping and stuff. But I'm going to pause for a little bit on them, or stop getting them for a little bit until I have more experience with it. That way I'm not spending money on something that I'm not comfortable doing yet. Again, that's just my preference. I know some people like, well, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep at it. Yes, I'm going to keep at it. I know I'll get better the more I do it. It's just that I want to work on other projects that'll help me get to that before I start purchasing more stuff without having the experience. And also, I was kind of hoping for different projects instead of just blocks. I mean, yes, this was a cushion, but the first box was was a table runner. And I like doing bags and bowls and different household items. And I guess I could do that, and I'll probably will do that with the remainder of the fabric that I got in the box. But if it's just a square, or a block, what am I going to do with that block? The first one was a heart. Yeah, I did two, and I turned it into an oversized coaster because I didn't know what to do with it. And the fabrics that were in the first box for the first project didn't quite match this, so I couldn't see holding on to them and making them a quilt out of it. And plus they had different patterns. So that's just my take. Otherwise, give it a try if you'd like. If you've tried Mrs. Quilty, let me know how you like it and any tips for starches. I did have one issue with the pillow, or the cushion if you want to call it. I didn't quite know how to invisible seam. So it's not pretty right there. So I guess what I could have done is just sewn a 1/4 inch seam or an 1/8 inch seam around it and gave it a little bit of decorative closure, and would have closed that up a little bit better than this janky looking thing right here. So tips on that'd be fantastic. Of course, YouTube is going to be my friend so I can go in and look how to do that. I know there's a stitch, I can't remember the name of it, like an upholstery sewer, like an upholstery stitch kind of thing. Maybe not, but we'll have to take a look at that. But otherwise, I enjoyed the projects and the fabrics, other than the pucker fabric. I didn't quite understand that. And I did just notice that these are facing the wrong direction, and maybe I should have cut one to face going the same way. Yeah, not quite sure about that. But I guess maybe that one looks good. That one kind of looks good. It follows the flow. But me, I probably would have cheated, and I should have just measured out that shape. I forget what that's called. It's not a rectangle. But yeah, math is hard for some people. Geometry. There we go, geometry. And I guess with quilting, you need to be good at geometry. So I might have to hit up my freshman to help me with this kind of stuff. But anyways, I think overall it turned out cute. I will keep it, again, as a reference point. But otherwise, thank you for tuning in. It's a quick video. Stay tuned. I do have some moo mail from the Quilted Cow. I've got her box that I have already did a review on, and I'm getting ready to work on the project for that one. And I'm going to be making a tote. I'm going to be making this cute little tote right here. I'm excited about that. So in the meantime, have a great day. Enjoy your craft. Get out, get some vitamin D. I'm in Missouri, and so the weather is sunny today. And it's just beautiful. We got a ton of rain the past couple of days, and everything's greening up. The garden is doing great. And then, yeah, subscribe, hit that like button, hit the little bell button. And I look forward to seeing you the next time I'm on. Have a great day.